Rashford, because the news concerning him right now is a bit mad. They're linking him with the move to Arsenal. Now, this would be a crazy deal. And I think if Arsenal hypothetically signed Marcus Rashford, whoever signed on that deal needs to be fired immediately. Rashford has a few years left on his contract at Manchester United, and he primarily plays on that left wing, even though he can play on the right and he can play down the middle, but he's most effective on the left. And the fact that there's even a rumor about Arsenal being linked to him, that should be concern, right? Like, that should cause some concern for Arsenal fans, because Marcus Rashford's not good enough. He's really not. I mean, he's not trash, but to me, he's a very overrated player. His overall game is lacking. And Arsenal are a team that are trying to win the Premier League. Why the hell would you go sign Marcus Rashford, who could barely help Manchester United? What are we talking about here? I know that Gabriel Martinelli has fallen off last season, but is Rashford an upgrade over him? No, not really. On top of that, this deal would cost a lot of money. His market value is 60 M's. Now add on English tax, and then add on selling to one of your rivals tax. Man United are going to probably want 80 to 90 million, maybe even 100 to sell him to Arsenal. And this would be a huge mistake. I know some people might get in the comments and say, oh, well, look at what Arteta's done with Kai Havertz. But at the same time, do you want people to actually believe that Arsenal are a serious club that are trying to win championships, that are trying to win trophies, that are trying to go deep in the Champions League? Because you need a striker. You need a center mid. Yes, you do need to address your wing positions, but not by going out there and signing Marcus Rashford. Look, if it wasn't for Arsenal, Rashford might not even have a career. Don't forget, I remember his Premier League debut all those years ago when he started against Arsenal at Old Trafford and bagged a brace. I think that was his second start, because the Thursday before that game, he started in the Europa League and he bagged a brace there. So Arsenal actually helped to mold the player that you see today. And I don't know how Rashford would fit into Arteta's system, right? Because Arsenal are a possession-based team. They build up slowly, pass it around, and then they look to break you down and then hit you when you're not paying attention. Does Rashford really have a skill set to be effective in that kind of system? His tech is not bad, but if I'm being honest, it's just mid. He doesn't really link play like that. He doesn't create chances for anybody else. He gets the ball, head down, cuts inside, shoots. And that works at Man United, because how they've been playing recently has been counterattack football. So he's able to use his pace, outrun defenders, and that's how he's been bagging most of his goals. But at Arsenal, that's not going to be the case. You're going to actually have to link play, hold the ball, and look for passes. So I don't know if this rumor is true, but Rashford has been linked to Arsenal for a while now. I'm talking about a few seasons of seeing this rumor. And I always say, where there's smoke, there's fire. I'm pretty sure that the Arsenal board, the hierarchy, have probably discussed possibly signing Marcus Rashford. But I think that would be a mistake. I don't think that that's how they should prioritize their spending. I think Arsenal are in for a huge summer, because you end up losing the Premier League again for the second season in a row. No trophies. Arteta's underneath a lot of pressure. Arsenal are underneath a lot of pressure. They have not won a trophy in 4 seasons. So this summer, people are going to be watching to see what business you guys do. How serious are Arsenal with wanting to compete with Man City? And by signing Marcus Rashford, that's not going to give anybody any assurances that you guys are for real. Because come on now, man. Marcus Rashford is mid. There's a reason why he wasn't called up to the Euros. Because he's not good enough. And you know Gareth Southgate has his favorites. He's a bum manager. And he still calls up Harry Maguire and Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw hasn't even played this season, really. But Marcus Rashford was left out because his peers are passing him. He's not good enough. And the amount of money that it would cost to sign him would be ridiculous. Now, if you're telling me Rashford had 1 year left on his deal, you could possibly sign him for about 25 to 30 million and you'll use him as a rotational player, then fair enough. But again, you're going to have to spend close to 100 M's and he's going to have to be one of your highest paid players. I think he is the highest paid player at Man United. You think he's going to take a pay cut to join Arsenal? I don't know. And why would Man United want to sell him to Arsenal anyways? I know that they may want to get rid, but if I was them, I'd much rather sell him abroad. I know that he was linked with the move to PSG. That's kind of went quiet. So there's not that many suitors out there for him because the price tag is not worth the product that you're going to get on the field. But I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe you guys do think Rashford is an upgrade from Martinelli. Maybe you do think he can be a missing piece in this Arsenal side for them to go on and win the championship. But I just cannot see it. No, to drop 80 or 100 million on a winger that's Marcus Rashford is ridiculous. You need a striker. And Martinelli, yeah, he's had one poor season. But I think he has some credit in the bank where he should be given another opportunity to go again. But I do think Arsenal need to address wingers, right? They need to go buy somebody that can push Martinelli and can push Saka so that these guys just don't get complacent. But Rashford? That should not be a big money signing, bro. I'm telling you, this would break the internet if Rashford ends up going to Arsenal. But as I said, maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Maybe I'm crazy. You guys can get in the comment section and let me know if you would take Marcus Rashford at Arsenal. For me, absolutely not. Just because Kai Havertz has kind of had a decent season, it doesn't mean that Arteta is just able to bring in mid players and make them great again. No, if Arsenal are trying to win a trophy, if Arsenal are trying to win the Premier League, if they're trying to go deep in the Champions League, they need to go out there and sign a world-class striker, and they need to sign a very good center mid. Those should be the first two positions that they're looking at. And then, after you sell some players, if there's any money left in the budget, then you can go out there and look at other positions. But you got to do smart business. And Rashford, for the amount of money that he would cost, is not smart business. This guy is a purple patch player, in my opinion. I know last season he scored like 20-something goals, but come on, people. Look at Rashford's whole career. Go season by season and look at how many goals he scored. This man is not prolific. He goes months, like 4 or 3 months at a time, where he's not bagging goals. How are you a forward not bagging goals? It doesn't make any sense. And that's what Arsenal need, is goal scoring, not more PR. We already know that Arsenal are a PR club. So imagine you bring in Rashford. Shit, this actually might be a match made in heaven. But I would have to rate this a terrible transfer if it does end up going through. But we will see.